Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to study about how to study Julius Caesar. This is something very important that we need to know. So to begin with, let me explain the difference to you. जो patterned literature हम अब तक पढ़ते आए हैं up to class 8, how is it different from that of class 9th and 10th? Literature की हमारे पास text book रहती थी, उसमें stories थी, poems थी, with new words coming here and there. We used to look up into the dictionary and that's it. Here, the approach changes. Why? Because here you are introduced to a Shakespearean drama, right? So, as far as the drama is concerned, we are not familiar with the language. So, this particular website, class 9 ICSE.in, has the solution to it. So, सबसे पहले we're going to discuss the approach कि हमें Julius Caesar, ये जो हमारी text book है, जो हम use कर रहे हैं as a drama for class 9, ये पढ़ना कैसे है? Let's begin. You log into this website and you come to this page. You'll find Julius Caesar on top and you come down and click on this. Then you get to know how to study Julius Caesar. Now let's continue. कोई भी drama पढ़ने के लिए, if you're talking about studying a drama, it involves a comprehensive analysis of the various elements involved, which include your plot, the characters, the themes, and most importantly, the language, right? And then, after all, the performance of the characters. So to begin with, you start reading the play. It can definitely be a daunting task, a problematic task for you if you're not well versed with it, if you do not know the approach, the correct approach towards it. So how do you begin? You begin by reading the play thoroughly in order to grasp, come across and understand the overall plot followed by the storyline. You need to highlight the major events along with the conflicts as well as the key turning points. All these things need to be recognized accordingly. Because if you don't do so, somehow you'll be facing this problem to analyze the plot. And eventually, you'll be ending up understanding nothing. So this approach has to be literally calm, going along with it and understanding it very well. Let's move ahead. After this, once you're done with this, you need to understand the characters. Now, my characters also play a very important role in order to understand their roles in the story. Fine. So we need to analyze their traits, the motivation behind their characters, as well as their relationship with other leading roles. Then we need to analyze the plot. Analyzing the plot is another very important point, which includes these essential components. So if you talk about the exposition refers to the opening movement of the action. The very first scene where you get to know the characters, where the introduction is done, followed by the growth of the play or the rising action. Then you get to know the height towards which it follows, right? That is the climax. Then the falling action, the fall of the play, and eventually the resolution or the close, that is the catastrophe. You should be very familiar with these terms to understand as you read through the play. After analyzing the major plot, you need to understand if there are any subplots added to it. Then, how do they contribute to the overall narrative? So, this overall narrative is referred to as my drama. Very important, something that we need to understand, children. And we know that this can be problematic if we are not understanding it well. We really need to get it very well so that things can have a smooth go without any problem. Obviously, we all want to understand and realize and get very well along with the text that we are reading. Like in the olden days, like when we are in the junior classes, when stories were being read out to us, क्या होता था? दिमाग में पिक्चर बनती थी? वही करना है. The very same way. While you're reading, you're into immersive learning. वो कैसे possible है? Let's understand. वो ऐसे possible है. वो ऐसे possible है when you study the language. See children, studying the language is something that will help you to understand and get along the entire play. So studying the language requires paying attention to all the dialogues and some special monologues as well as soliloquies. I'll be explaining these terms to you as we get along in the play. Okay? Apart from these, you need to identify the use of symbolism, metaphors, other literary devices, oxymoron, personification, etc. Then we need to consider the dramatic structure of the play, right? Including all the acts and scenes. Here, talking about Julius Caesar, it's divided majorly into 5 acts. Now, these 5 acts are further subdivided into scenes. Just like watching a web series. देखा है ना? I hope, I'm sure about it. All of you must have seen. So how does it go? You start with an episode which is linked to the other, happening at different places, at different scenes. The same thing happens with these. तो ये आज से नहीं होता आ रहा, ये पहले से होता आ रहा. Because in the olden era, these plays were staged, right? Just like your movies going on, these web series going on, they were staged. The characters gave the best of their performances and people enjoyed them. That was the source of entertainment in the olden era, in the olden period. So we need to identify, come across these as well as follow the irony as well as suspense in this drama. After that, we need to explore the character development. Now, what does the character development involve? Let me tell you what is it about. It's about the distinctiveness of the character. What is meant by distinctiveness, right? Like accordingly, every individual that's participating must be represented according to the distinctive feature played in that drama, right? Then drawing a contrast. If you're familiar with the particular character, you can draw a contrast with the other, right? Then steps in the consistency. The consistency of the character, how natural it is, how well you can relate to it, how well you can understand the character. Eventually followed by the very last step, that is the effectiveness. Now, effectiveness refers to in regard to the dramatic action that particular role is playing in the play. So we need to track the development of the characters throughout the play, come across any significant changes according to their personalities and relationships. So eventually, to study a drama effectively, we need to follow these steps, that is careful reading, analyzing along, as well as a thoughtful reflection. As I've used this term earlier, using the term immersive. Immersive in the sense, children, to understand. Try to get this. Like when you're reading something, you can visualize that. This is immersive learning. Like you're into it completely. तो जो आप पढ़ रहे हो वो आप फिगर आउट कर सकते हो, वो दिमाग में बन रहा है, you are picturizing it. Okay, this is how you need to get along. So I really hope that this video helps you all to understand how to read this play. In the very next video, I'll be giving you the overview of Julius Caesar. Hope you liked the video. Thank you.